Okay, everybody, welcome to Inside or High School Sports Saturday. I am Frank Wolf, and welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us this morning, High School Sports Saturday. Whenever I get here, it's there's always a problem. So Francis does not let me normally produce or host because I mess this up time and again, and I probably hit a wrong button or two already. But it is High School Sports Saturday. It is Saturday, March 25th. Shout out to my sister Mary Ellen for turning 51 yesterday. We'll be celebrating with her a little bit later tonight. And anybody celebrating a birthday, really, happy birthday. It was a long day. It was a long night yesterday. So we're going to start the show. And we are going to host today the Randolph Cardinal boys and girls teams. The boys, of course, won a Class C state title just a week ago, and the girls made it to the championship game last week before falling to Millbrook in the Class C final. So we do have those girls and boys in studio this morning, so thank you for them for making the trip up from Randolph. And welcome to the show if you're joining us for the very first time. We do this every Saturday, 9 to 11. Normally it's Francis Beck and Tom Prince in here producing, so we don't have the technical difficulties that we normally have that we're experiencing today. Nonetheless, we're going to get through the show. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to be bringing in the girls from Randolph shortly. We're going to start with them. I know Kyra Pence is out there, and I believe her sister Quinn, too. Skylar Harrington made the trip up as well, along with Coach Dave Pilblad, who's been there for 3 years. And the boys, Kevin Hind, I'm told, is on the way up. They're en route. I believe Jaden Huntington is pushing the car up. You know, when you win an MVP title and you break records and things, they kind of make you do a little extra. So Jaden's probably pushing that right up. There's some announcements going on that I wanted to get to before we bring the girls in and Coach Dave. The first one is Best of Buffalo Showcase is coming up on Wednesday, April 12th and 13th. The girls kick things off on Wednesday the 12th at 6 o'clock, their freshman-sophomore game, followed by the junior-senior game at 7:30. The boys take the stage the next night, and the same lineup basically, freshman-sophomore at 6, junior-senior at 7:30. That's put on by Pro Training Basketball and Josh Kester of Tape Cage Productions. And I want to give another shout-out to Josh. Does an amazing job highlighting the school athletes. He puts a lot of those videos together of different players and things of that nature, teams. He's at a lot of the games. You know, huge shout out to Josh, though. If you see Josh, and you may see him today at the Silver City Classic in Buffalo at McKinley High School. Recently, Josh lost his mother. So if you see Josh, just stop him and send him some well wishes. He's a very good friend of mine, and I know he's going through a rough stretch right now emotionally with the loss of his mom. So if you see Josh out there today, give him a high five, tell him you love him, give him a hug, chest bump, whatever. But give a shout out to Josh when you see him and let him know you're thinking about him. We did get tough news this week too with our favorite, our biggest supporter of WNO Athletics, Roger Weiss. Roger, if you're watching, we're always thinking about you and praying for you. Roger's recently, his wife Diana put a post out there on Facebook that they were going to call hospice in for Roger. As you know, Roger's been battling cancer for a number of years, and he's probably the biggest supporter of girls' high school sports. I don't think there's a bigger supporter. I haven't met one. I know there's a lot of you out there, but Roger, he's at all the marquee events. He's constantly traveling Western New York to watch these girls play softball, basketball, volleyball. You know, yes, he does a lot with football too, but Roger's high school sports. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I met Roger when we first started. I had been listening to Roger for years on WGR Inside High School Sports, listening for a long time, as you have too. And it was a treat for us when Tony Caligiuri invited us to participate on a couple of shows in the early stages of WNO Athletics. And it was a real treat to meet Roger and work with him in that setting. And we did a lot. we've had a lot of fun, and I'm sure we're still going to have fun with Roger. But our thoughts and prayers are with you, Roger. Just keep battling. We're going to take care of everything, no matter what. Roger, you got to know that we're not going to stop doing what we do to highlight girls athletes. So don't worry for 1 second about that. We got it covered. I'm really praying for Roger to make it through the softball season, because that's what he really loved, was softball. So I'd love to see Roger at least see some games. The senior all-star game that we're doing this late spring is a tribute to Roger and the late Dennis Sarrell. It's the White Sarrell Cup. So that's given to the top top all-star player and all that, and we've talked about that previously. So I would love selfishly for Roger to get to that point, just to be able to present that award to the winning person. That would mean a lot. So Roger, I'll come see you this week. And it was great. Last time I got to see Roger up close was at JCC. As sick as he was, Roger made the trip down to Jamestown to see Panama and Randolph, Wilson, and it was really, really good to see him down there. And he looked good. He looked good. Thinking about you, Roger. Hope you're enjoying the show today, buddy, and I'll talk to you soon, okay? Ethan Fry announced, the Fredonia quarterback and star basketball player, has announced recently that he's going to reclass in 2024. He's going to attend Trinity Pauling School. Instead of going right to college, he's going to take a year to play at the prep. So good luck to Ethan. Very good kid. And we'll be following your career from here on out as well, as you know. 716 versus 585 Classic Sunday at Villa Maria. There's 3 games. It's a triple header. Middle schoolers go out at 3:30. The freshman-sophomore game follows that, and then the junior-senior game. It's $10. WNY Athletics is not streaming that. So you're going to have to go to see that one. I didn't even know this thing was happening. Whatever. It's another nice showcase for these kids. Another opportunity to battle. It's the 716 All-Stars playing teams from kids from Rochester to 585. That's what that means. 716 versus 585 Classic. It's not the first time that they've done this. It's been going on. So good luck to those guys, and hope they have a good time with that. I know Bishop Timon was the #1 large school, recently announced by the Buffalo News. Overall, it was a unanimous decision. Funny, because they were like a small school at the beginning of the year, and then at the end they kind of bumped that up because they were that good. So Bishop Timon #1 overall. Large school, Randolph boys, small school, Class C champion, of course. No argument there whatsoever. Girls, Lancaster, large. Depew was the small. Randolph girls #2. So it is what it is. I don't vote on that. Nobody from WNY Athletics votes on that. I don't know anybody that sees more girls' games than WNY Athletics. We're not on that panel, boys or girls, so we don't have a vote. I know people on that. I don't think they've seen 6 games all year, yet they're voting on that. I don't understand how they do that vote or who gets included, but coaches are on that. I don't know why they allow coaches to vote for the best teams around. They're really only worried about their team. It should be people that are out seeing these games and these players day after day, night after night. Nelson Adams, I believe he has a vote. Perfect. He's the guy that's there for boys. He's at almost every single game. So that's a perfect choice right there. But some of these other guys, they see one team. How can a guy who spends most of his time up in Western New York coaching one team know how to vote for a team from the Southern Tier they never sees? I don't get it. But that's how they do it. So next year, WNY Athletics, we're going to have our own polls for boys and girls sports. It just makes more sense. That's all I got to say about that. Let's see what else we got. Sweet Home Football, can and bottle donation. They have an account at the Can Shack at 906 Brighton Road. It supports their football team. If you got any cans, bottles you want to donate or recycle, bring them over to the Can and Bottle donation account at the Can Shack, 906 Brighton Road in Kenton. So that's how you can help the Sweet Home Boys football team. Kenmore West, 12th annual mattress sale It's going on Saturday, April 1st from 10 to 4. That's at the Kenmore West High School, and that supports the Kenmore West boys baseball team. Another one here, Buffalo Scholastic Rowing Club. Their modified rowing program, 6th to 8th graders, April 10th to 5th. Mondays and Wednesdays, 3:45 to 5. They're going to do indoor and on-the-water training. BSRA for short, Buffalo Scholastic Rowing Club. You can register if you visit their website, Row Buffalo. Check them out. Connolly Cup, 50th anniversary celebration honoring past winners and nominees. All supporters are welcome. That is on Wednesday, July 26th from 3 to 7 out at Fontana's Grove. $30, get you in, food and beverages. Joe Licata will be there. He's going to be the marquee speaker. He won't be up for long. He's not going to give you a 2-hour homily. He's going to talk about what it meant to be a Connolly Cup winner and just how fortunate he was to win that, and just maybe talk a little bit about his career and what he's doing now at Will South. So registration for that's open. You can email ConnollyCup50@gmail.com. You can send a check to 300 Level Media, LLC, 375 North French Road, Suite 100, East Amherst, New York, 14228. You can also pay by credit card. I got this little thing right here. We're going to put it up on the WNY Athletics site. Connolly Cup 50th. It is July 26th. And as a member of the Connolly Cup, I'm looking forward to being there and hopefully seeing many of you there. And again, it's open to everybody. Obviously, we want as many past winners as we can get. But if you're a finalist or a nominee or an official, a coach, someone involved with high school football, we encourage you to come out for that. It's going to be a nice event. It'll be a good time. So I was trying to play a commercial because I want to go bring in my first guest. I'm going to bring in the Randolph girls coach, Dave Pilbad, first. And then we're going to bring some of the girls. So let me try to play this commercial again. It wasn't working earlier. I'm blaming Francis. He was here yesterday monkeying around with this, told me everything would be perfect. And obviously, out of the gate, we had a couple of screw-ups already. So let me try playing a commercial. I'll bring in Coach Dave Pilbad. And that's not working, Francis. Let me try this camera, or this commercial. Yeah, Francis, you're fired. All right, we're going to go bring in Coach Dave Pilbad. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching WNY Athletics High School Sports Saturday. All right, welcome back to High School Sports Saturday on WNY Athletics. My name is Frank Wolf, hosting today, and I'm blaming Francis for everything that's gone wrong so far. He was here yesterday, monkeying around with this equipment. They don't let me touch stuff often, but because Tom is busy with the Silver City Classic today going on at McKinley High School, I'm the only one that could do this. Nobody else could. Tim Gardner, another one of our producers, is down in Miami at some musical fest down there, having a good old time. He sent me some pictures yesterday. I know he's having a great time. You know, all these graphics you see whenever you watch one of our live streams, if you see like the score, the team names and all that, that's all done by Tim Gardner. So that's exceptional work that he does. But he's in Florida right now, so he couldn't come in and produce this show. Francis, I don't know what Francis' excuse was this morning. Too early? Not enough coffee? I have no idea what Francis' problem was this morning, but he's going to get a talking to when he shows up for work on Monday why he couldn't be here on Saturday. I probably should have shaved before the show today. Anyways, I'm going to get to Coach Dave Pilbad. Am I messing that up?
Pilblad.
Pilblad.
Close enough.
So the L wasn't silent. The L, it's not a soft L.
No.
Pilblad.
Yep. The
Who's
H is
out?
H is silent.
The H is silent.
Yep.
2008 graduate of Randolph. I just found that out, by the way.
Yep.
What a season
Yeah.
for the Randolph girls. You've been there now. This is your third season.
Yep.
As coach there. We met somewhere before that, though. You reminded me, and I actually thought you're the one that won the award because you look so young. I went down to Pine Valley, I think, in 2016.
Yep.
There was a young boy there who scored like 6 goals or 10 goals in a week, and at the time we were giving T-shirts away for like, Player of the Week or something like that. And this kid was unanimous. I'm from Western New York, the Buffalo area, Amherst, and I see Pine Valley, and Francis wasn't going to drive all the way down there. And it was really only me and Francis at the time doing this. So I went down to Pine Valley. You couldn't not give this kid the T-shirt for Athlete of the Week. My dad had 15 goals in 2 games. I don't know what he had. But it was unanimous. I forgot his name.
Tyler West.
Tyler West won. Alex Colsty, who works in Jamestown, on our Jamestown crew, played soccer at Jamestown, and he remembers the kid winning the award.
I think he played, my brother was the Jamestown coach. I think
Okay.
Alex played for my brother, actually.
Yeah, Alex is one of our camera guys. He's in Nashville right now for a Predators game or something like that. I think they're putting a statue up for some goalie or something I never heard of. So that's where Alex is, another guy who couldn't come up and produce today. But, so I went down to Pine Valley, you were there,
Yep.
you were the coach at the time.
Yep.
So we go back a ways.
Yeah.
And I didn't remember, I remember going down there, I didn't remember you as the coach, but now that I saw the name, now it's starting to ring a
Yep.
bell.
Yep.
So you were at Pine Valley,
Yep.
and then the job opens up for Randolph girls.
Yep. Yeah,
How'd
so
that come?
I coached soccer at Pine Valley for 6 years. I coached the boys and the girls varsity programs at Pine Valley for a couple of years, and then the Randolph job opened up.
Yeah.
I was fortunate to get that job, and then I helped Kevin Hind with the boys for a couple of years. I was his assistant. I did the modified boys, and then 4 years ago, Sean Huntington was taking an admin job at Randolph, and so he kind of asked me at the end of the season, hey, this is probably my last year, is this something you'd be interested in kind of taking over the girls program? And I was like, I don't know, I like what I'm doing with Kevin, the boys, it's a good gig, I don't know if I want the pressure of being the girls coach and all that. And I don't think I've ever told the girls this, but I went to the game that night. I was like, I'm just going to see how the girls are or whatever. And I remember Kyra Pence I think she was a 9th grader. And she, like the first play of the game, she dies on the floor. And I was just like, I got to coach these girls. I got to coach this program. And I jumped on board. I was Sean's assistant probably the last month of the season. Helped Kevin that year. My wife probably wasn't too happy because I was coaching modified and varsity girls and varsity boys.
Yep.
But since then, I've loved every second of it.
And you told me before going on that you actually played for Kevin.
Yep.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That means Kevin's really old.
Yeah. I played 3 years with Kevin. Hair's a lot longer back then.
Yours or his?
Both of ours. Yeah, we go way back. And then I helped coach Kevin. Yeah, it's been a good ride.
So basketball is your first love?
No, soccer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Soccer.
Soccer was my thing. I played soccer in college at Medaille. I always loved basketball, but yeah, probably soccer was my first love, and basketball is always probably number 2.
When you took the team over 3 years ago, you know you were taking over a program that was set up for success. They had some key players. They just needed to stay grounded probably and have someone like you step in. I don't want to look. I've stepped into places before that were perfect. They just needed someone to not screw it up, and I probably screwed a few things up. That was almost like it was like for you. You just need to put your stamp on the program, but you knew you had some horses there.
Oh yeah, I was given a great opportunity. Peyton was a 7th grader. I think Kyra was a 9th grader. Quinn was a 7th grader. I knew that there was this core of girls coming up that I just didn't need to screw it up. Just kind of keep it going, type of thing.
When you look back at previous seasons, first year, second year, and then this year, talk about some of those heartbreaks before you started making your way towards championship Sunday this year.
Yeah, our first year was the COVID year, So we didn't have a season for the first month of basketball, and we were doing like trainings and open gyms, hoping that maybe we'd get some sort of a season, and we honestly didn't think it was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, they're like, yep, we're going to play a shortened season. And that year we went 18-0, won sectionals, didn't lose a single game, but then the season was over. So we never got that opportunity to go to regionals or states, and it was always at like, what if, like, how good were we type of thing. And then last year was tough. We won our league. We were the 1 seed, had the lead in the sectional final game, and things fell apart, and Frewsburg got us in overtime, and it was tough. It was really hard. But I don't know if we would have lost in that way if this year would have been as good as it was.
Okay.
You
had to have a devastating defeat to kind of.
Yeah.
And I think Kyra alluded to that after you guys beat Portville.
Yeah.
On that Thursday. Because then you guys played Wilson.
Yep.
Obviously, it was either after the Portville, after the Wilson game. She kind of alluded to that Frewsburg game as maybe being one of those stepping stones.
Right.
You almost have to go through something like that.
Yeah. We learned a lot. I learned a lot as a coach. There's things that I needed to do better. The girls, I think that motivated them in the off season that we were good, we weren't good enough, and what do we got to do to get over that hump? And it would have been nice to win that sectional title, but yeah. I think it definitely helped us.
Obviously, last Saturday was a big win for the program. Sunday ultimately didn't go your way, but just talk about getting there.
Yeah. And
what the emotions were after winning that game to advance to Sunday's final game, and what was going through that locker room. What were because the boys had won on Saturday too.
Right.
So, what I really liked about following both the boys and girls is just the community.
Yeah.
How they rally around you.
Yeah.
And your girls were going to the boys' games, and the boys were coming to the girls' games, and it wasn't just out in Binghamton or out in Hudson Valley, and that they were doing that at JCC too, and they were following these girls and going to their games. That was nice to see. You don't really see a whole lot of that in other schools.
Right.
But what you guys have going on at Randolph is certainly special, and it's a lesson we can all learn.
Right.
To kind of support other programs in the school. You're a Randolph guy. Just talk about the differences being a player, some of your successes as a player, and then going in as a coach, and how that, is it a major difference? Are you feeling, or are you going through different feelings as being the coach than you did maybe as a player?
Yeah, that was part of the reason I wanted to get the job at Randolph, is just that community is outstanding. They support sports so well. They support just the school in general. What we had last weekend was special. There were so many people that made the trip out, and it was a 6-hour drive. It wasn't like it was a short drive out there. People stayed multiple nights in hotels, spent lots of money to stay there and support us. And I think whoever made the schedule for states this year must have planned for us, because the timing of everything was just absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
We got to go to the boys' games. The boys got to come to us. All the fans came out.
It's like a 40-minute drive, is it not?
Yeah, on a bus it was probably close to an hour by the time
Yeah.
we got there. It all worked out. It was unbelievable how the timing of everything. It was hard. Definitely it was hard on both programs. Just the extra cheering, and every game was stressful. It wasn't like anybody blew anybody out. So It was the girls. I was worried towards the end, like, are we going to have anything left in the tank? Because we played and we went to the boys' game, and then we didn't get back to the hotel till 9 o'clock at night. Then we had to get food, and we had to watch film. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. That experience was amazing.
Yeah. You're losing 3 seniors. You're losing Kyra Pence.
Yep.
You never, you hear that all the time. You can never replace a player like this, but you almost have to if you're going to be successful. So you have to find someone in that program to kind of fill that role. Have you tabbed someone that might be able to step into that role? Is there someone in that program maybe that you see coming up from JV or even further down the line? Have you started looking at, where's my next Kyra Pence going to be? Who's, how do you work with that?
Yeah, you can't replace players like Kyra. She's just awesome in everything she does. She's a great leader. I'm hoping her sister, Quinn, can step in there. Quinn's going to have to change some things in her game a little bit, because she's not what Kyra is. They're different players, but hopefully Quinn and Peyton and Skylar can kind of emerge as those leaders now. They're going to have to if we're going to be successful. We have some girls that came off the bench that'll probably be starters next year, and some JV girls that we brought up for the playoff run that will hopefully step into those roles next year too.
So we're going to bring the girls in just a second. Are they going to talk, or are they going to get very quiet? Or are they going to, because I can't do this myself, you know what I mean? I need them to, I can ask some questions and things of that nature, but I'm hoping the girls will open up and talk about their season and just the friendships they've made over the years, what they've gone through the last month alone, and memories for the rest of their life. I want to ask them, I'm hoping they talk. Were they all chatty in the write-up?
They did not stop talking the whole time. I don't think they've stopped talking since November, so yeah, they should be. Maybe the cameras, they'll get shy, but yeah, they're a fun group. They're best friends. They'll talk. They'll definitely talk.
All right. Well, we're gonna bring the girls in just a second. We can't really take an actual commercial because Francis screwed something up. But we're gonna take a little short break. I'll bring the girls in. We will be back. You're gonna look at an event splash screen. I apologize, but because Francis messed this up, I can't fix it. I don't know how to fix it. So he's an easy target because he's not here. I can pick on him. So we're gonna bring the girls in just a second. If you have a question that you want to ask Coach Dave Pilblad or one of the girls that we're bringing in, by all means on Facebook, fire away, send your questions in, and we'll have them answered for you. You're watching WNY Athletics High School Sports Saturday. We'll be back in just a few moments. Sit tight. We'll be back in just a few moments. Okay, Caitlin, we need you to move this way a little more.
She has a huge gap.
Coach Dave.
We love each
There's
other.
a camera right there, Coach Dave.
Which one? Oh, that one. Can we sneak in here?
Yeah, of course. All right, so we're back in studio, WNY Athletics High School Sports Saturday. We're welcoming in the Randolph Lady Cardinals, who had an exceptional season this past winter. They're chatty. They're clapping already. So I want you girls to talk. I want you girls, you're gonna have to lean into the microphone. But I want you girls to talk about your season, talk about the friendships you've made over the last few years. Some of you have been playing for more than 4 and 5 years. And some of you just came into the program in 7th grade, but still, there's a lot of bonding there. The last month had to be one hell of a ride.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What went on behind the scenes? Tell everybody how how you guys prepared yourselves for this playoff run, and when you girls kind of knew that you had something special? Like, when did it click, like, okay, we can do this?
I would say the beginning of the season, like we started off 0-3, and it was horrible. Like me and Kyra didn't play a couple games, and like it was just really bad. And Sadie Stewart, a girl coming off the bench, like we were all just out, and I knew like it had to be this year. Like it just had to be. It was Kyra and Caitlin and all them senior years, so like it just had to be special. Because if not, I think we would all be in counseling and severely depressed.
Yeah.
So that's Peyton Morrison in the red, for those of you keeping score at home.
Yeah, this season was totally crazy for all of us. Like Peyton said, I knew it at the beginning of the year. We've all been playing since we were in 3rd grade, and then Sky came in 7th grade and joined the team, which was a great addition to the team. So we've all built that bond, and we've all added Sky to the family throughout all of our times. So that bond since 3rd grade, it's been our dream to go to states and whatever. And it was just crazy that we finally got there with the same group, and I loved every second of it. Being a senior, I loved being the mom of the team. It was pretty great to play with my family and my best friends.
Yeah. Last year at the sectional final game when we lost, I just knew then like that we were gonna go far next year and that we weren't losing that again. And we just kept working. And in the beginning of the season, like Peyton said, we were 0-3, but we just used that as motivation. And then we got better and better. We fought through diversity, and where we are now, we made it to states.
Yeah, after losing the sectional final last year, what Skylar said, we used like the off season for motivation. We had AAU, we trained together, and ever since we were younger, we've always dreamed of that, and we just knew it was something special.
Yeah, after the loss last year, we knew we didn't want it to happen again. So, first day of practice, Ike was telling me we're going to states, and that was really the only option for the whole season. So,
That's Caitlin's store. There they are. Store.
yeah.
Not just store.
Store.
Caitlin, everything that you've gone through with these girls, I mean, you probably wouldn't trade any of these experiences, I'm sure. But which one gets on your nerves the most?
They all have their moments. I don't know. I feel like
Does Coach Dave get on your nerves?
no. I don't think I have one in particular.
Probably me, because I give her some crazy passes that she has to catch.
I
But
don't appreciate the bowling passes. Ones I have to scoop off the ground and go layup. I don't.
What's the worst drill that Coach Dave has you run? That's just like every time you hear him blow the whistle and it comes out of his mouth, this drill. Like, what's the one that just? Are you serious? Now you're gonna make us run this drill? Like, what's the one drill that you're gonna love not having to do again?
Definitely Mike-ins. Mike-in drills, I cannot. It just gets boring. I get dizzy, too.
Walk us through. What is it for those of us who don't know?
You just do layup after layup, like 20 at a time. I don't, make 20 and then you can switch, I guess, yeah.
You have to make 20 in a row? before
Yeah.
you stop? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be there all day.
Mhm.
Maybe. Not this team.
No.
No, the Jacksonville one. The Jacksonville transition is the worst drill.
oh, horrible.
What? Okay, so.
Okay, so you start like with 3 people, no, 1, and then on 2, and then the person that's the one person goes down. It does a 1v2, and then those 2 people come back, and then you do 3v2, and it just keeps going, and it's really a lot of running, and it's miserable, and no one
The
likes
whole
it.
thing is just running.
It's running, and running.
Well, I can tell you that drill.
Wait, it's better.
Oh, it definitely is. Like, Inga Welty is one of the best coaches in basketball. Boys basketball, girls basketball. She's a great coach. And you guys played Portville in the semifinals before the sectional
Yes.
finals.
Yeah.
And I was at that game, and I saw you girls play that day. That might have been the first time I saw you play since last year. But that team, I had told a number of people that Randolph girls team that I saw play against Portville probably could have beat any team in Western New York on that night, including the O'Haras, the St. Mary's of Lancasters. That was a phenomenal game you had. That was the best girls basketball game I've ever seen a team play since we've been doing this. So whatever drills this guy's putting, that one game really impressed me. And Inga, as good a coach as she just had to throw her hands up. You know, and she was awarded, then I think against the Wilson game, she
Yeah.
won an award that night for being recognized, so that was nice to see that. But talk about that Portville, I mean, like nothing went wrong in that game, like everything was in sync.
No, that Portville game was crazy. I mean, Skylar I think she broke the school record with threes. That was the best shooting night I've seen Skylar shoot in a long time, and she's an 8th grader. I can't wait to see her play in the future. That was crazy. And we all played phenomenal. Our defense was phenomenal that game. We held their big Lillian Bentley, who's really good, to like under 10 points, her career really low, which I thought Caitlin, proud of her. She stepped up, played a great game that night, and I think we played well as a team, and we truly pushed the ball and ran into transitions thanks to coaches, all of his crazy drills that he had this morning.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Wilson came in on Saturday.
Oh gosh.
That wasn't easy.
No.
it's not.
We weren't
Very
expecting that.
well-coached.
Yeah,
Coach
crazy.
team,
Yeah.
had some big tough girls, low in the paint. They didn't make it easy for you, but you were able to pull away in the second half.
Yeah.
And you won your sectional title, so congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, Brian is a personal friend of mine, Brian Baker, and he does a lot for girls basketball
Yeah.
too, not just coaching his team. But so it was tough to watch his team lose, admittedly, but you guys had really what you guys accomplished this year. I know the Buffalo News has you as number 2 in the small schools.
Nah.
So, do you guys you want to say about that, or just want to let that one go?
It's fine.
You know what? We'll let the boys answer that.
Yeah.
We'll see what the boys have to say.
Never know.
But yeah, it was. So, Skylar, 8th grader, playing with these much older girls.
Yeah, I don't really.
Do you look at it like that, or do
No.
Okay.
Well, last year I kind of did because I kind of made like excuses for myself, but then this year it was just like I worked hard, like I worked for it, and I don't even think about my age when I play. Like it doesn't even matter to me. I just feel like I'm like everyone else on the court, and I don't know. It
So,
doesn't make a difference for me.
and Quinn, you're coming back.
Yes.
So how well are you going to be able to go without your sister being on
Not
the
good.
bench?
She always,
Struggle?
she always kept me in check, and we played well together. She always got me and Peyton out of trouble if we were in trouble. And we're gonna need someone to step up in our position next year.
So this off season, what will you do? Like, who's your AAU team? Is it
Action Elite. Yeah.
Women's X-Gen? Okay.
Yeah.
Are there other girls in that program that go to Randolph that might step up, or are there?
No,
It's just
us.
yeah, just us 3 for now, cause
Well,
Kyra.
went last year, and then it's just us 3 now.
And post high school plans.
I plan to attend SUNY Cobleskill to major in animal science, biology, to be a vet, and I will also be playing basketball there with Coach Bowman.
Very nice.
I'm
Okay.
going to Damon as part of their physician's assistant program, but I'm not playing basketball.
Are you gonna try, or just this is it for you?
This is it. It's an end of an era.
So, just talk about what basketball has meant to you then, that you're hanging it up, and you are kind of going out on a high note. I mean, you got
Yeah.
to the championship game.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I got to play as many games as I could. It was the last game I could have played, whether we won or lost. So, just being able to get there from the start, I guess. is
How
super
will
cool.
you stay in touch with these girls?
Oh, I'm texting them every day.
FaceTime.
Yep,
Who-
they're
which-
not gonna get rid of me.
Out of all the, like, which one doesn't know when to stop talking? Like, you're trying to get to sleep. Like, the phone keeps.
Yeah, I wonder, Skylar. I wonder. It was me, Kyra, Skylar, and Quinn in a room. And this is the night before our state final game. And Skylar decides to just keep laughing hysterically at 11:30 at
getting a
night.
massage on my back,
Oh
and it
my
really
Lord.
tickled. And don't even, we were all awake, except for
I was
Kyra.
yelling at them to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I was so exhausted. I was like,
I think we're all
please
pretty,
just
like-
go to sleep.
And we did, right when I got done with my massage, I went to bed.
But it's
So,
memories like that, like you just
Yeah.
never forget. So
Me
Everyone
screaming.
does us that.
even though I was tired in the morning, I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, it's okay.
Do you guys do, like, team dinners and things
Oh,
like that?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which house makes the best? Like,
My house.
And then right before playoffs, my mom made us hibachi.
okay.
Yeah, she made us homemade hibachi and all, and we all got together. We played some games, bonded. and ate some hibachi, which was really good.
And then Peyton's stepmom, Christina, she makes some really good chicken Alfredo.
Every single time, chicken Alfredo.
Chicken
It's so
Alfredo
good.
and mac and cheese.
And you
Yeah.
guys like 20 boxes of Capri Suns.
Yeah, so I think we go through like 20
Yeah.
boxes.
And garlic rolls. Right?
Yeah, oh, yeah. And breadsticks.
I only ate 8 of them, but.
Yeah, it's okay.
So keep talking.
Talk about our armpits.
I was the only one that kept up with the tradition. I will proudly say that.
Yeah, so last year, well, 2 years ago it started. We with Sydney Wiesjack. That year was really crazy, COVID year. So no one came to our games, obviously, because you couldn't. So we all had the genius idea of growing out our armpit hair, and we would shave it when we lost. But never did we imagine that we never lost. So when it came to playoff season, we ended up dyeing our armpit hair red for the playoff games. And yeah, it's really gross. But after that, we like kind of kept the tradition going. And like last year we did it, and we shaved when we lost. And then this year it was kind of like we did it a little bit, and then some of us wouldn't. So it kind of just kind of like died off a little bit. But next year we're going strong.
Yeah.
Our
Oh,
coaches
wow.
were tired of us talking about our armpit hair. They were like sitting there
I
laughing
could
and
curl
shaking their
mine.
heads.
Every practice we would talk about it.
No, and in all the pictures of these shooting, you can see my armpit hair. And then everyone else shaved, and I didn't know they shaved. And I was the only one. Well, me and Quinn didn't.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought we were gonna start talking about the season more.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Just talk about the school in general. Like what I really liked, I said this to Coach Dave. We love the community spirit and the way you backed up the boys program and the way they backed you guys up. You don't see that a whole heck of a lot in a lot of different schools. I went to Kemmer West, and I don't remember going to see a girls' basketball game. I don't remember going to see a girls' volleyball game. But you guys really supported each other, and it was really good to see. Just talk about that, the bonding with the boys team, because you did something that's almost unprecedented. 2 winter teams, 2 basketball teams from the same school going to play for state titles. That doesn't happen that often. Just talk about the way you were, handling that situation and just going through that with the boys team and how you bonded with them.
Well, we've all been like best friends since we were younger. Like we all grew up together around the same time, like Drew, Griffin, and Owen, and we've all bonded together. The bus ride was really fun up, and we went to the boys' game. I think we almost all lost our voice. It was so emotional when they won. Like it just like felt like a part of us too because we're like a family.
So, Coach Dave, I believe you had twins recently? How old? About a year? Less than a year?
Oh.
Almost 4 months now. Yeah, it was
Oh,
November,
my goodness.
end of November.
Wow.
I think it was 3 days before our first game. The twins came early, 7 weeks early. So,
That is correct. Yes.
so yeah, that was
Your poor wife.
yes. That
Almost
threw
got
a
a
wrinkle in
divorce.
everything. And like the first game, I wasn't even there. I was in the hospital, so I was FaceTiming Kyron, Quinn's mom, watching on my phone in the hospital as they were playing and getting smoked by Nichols. Yeah, that
Going freeze?
that was,
Yup.
that was,
That was the
that was
first
the
one.
first
Yeah.
That was the lowest game.
That was
Scored
bad.
20 points that game. It was,
Well, to be honest, Nichols did that to a lot of teams.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Not the second time. They didn't do that the second time.
I got you. So, Coach Dave, do you have any babysitters here, or?
Yeah.
Have any of you babysat these kids yet?
He asked us to babysit tonight, but all of us were busy. So Harper, who else is on our team, is babysitting for him tonight.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Lucky her.
Yeah.
Are you actually finally taking your wife out? Is
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, she.
she's watching, so I don't know if it's a
She's
surprise.
probably changing diapers right now. I doubt she's able to watch right
Is
now.
it a surprise that you're taking her out tonight? Did I ruin it?
No.
She knew.
Yeah, she knows. Yeah, that was kind of after the season was over. The first weekend, she had a weekend off in 4 months. So
My goodness. So girls, you repay your coach back. Maybe you could just step up and, coach, I'll take those. I'm on diaper duty this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
I'll take
I'll
season.
skip school.
I'm not doing diapers.
I think you might be your diapers.
So what's the rest of the plan for today? You girls are all busy. Why, is there a big school social going on?
We have
tonight?
extra
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah, AAU practice first weekend of practice.
First week, so that's tonight?
Yeah.
5:30 to 8.
5:30 to 8?
Yeah.
Oh, that's some serious basketball.
Mhm.
So that's it? That's why you can't babysit?
I'm
Yep.
babysitting for another family tonight, so I can't babysit for him.
All right.
Kyra could do all 5 of them.
So you're getting ready to go. What's in store for the rest of the school year? Do any play under any spring sports?
Yeah, track and softball for most of us.
Who's on softball?
Me and Connor. Me and Connor
Okay.
on softball.
All right. What's the prospects there? What do you
Oh,
think?
we should be really good. We didn't lose anyone last year, and some of our competitors moved up to B. Falconer moved up to B, but I mean, there's still going to be competition. But we got one heck of a pitcher. We got strong hitters, and our field's pretty strong, so we should go pretty far this year.
Good. Good. And what position do you play, Quinn?
Well, so I played when I was younger, and then I quit because I thought it was really boring. So I just started. So last year I had knee surgery, and I ran track so I could get back into it. So then I just started up again this year, so I play outfield.
Okay. Okay. Kara,
I play shortstop.
imagine that.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Shortstop and leadoff batter.
And then what events do you run for track?
My main is like the 400 and both like relays 4x1 and 4x4.
Okay. Skylar, just doing basketball?
Well, yeah, last year I did track, but I'm not gonna do that this year. But I started lifting on Monday, and I'm gonna just keep using this as like an off season just to get better at basketball and get stronger because track didn't really do it for me last year.
Caitlin, what do you do this spring?
I'm just gonna work. I don't play spring sport.
Where do you work?
Peaches and cream.
And what is that exactly?
It's like flower shop,
Okay.
produce shop, ice cream.
Okay.
Yep.
Right in Randolph?
Yep.
The boys are invading our territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're giving me the death stare right
Which-
now.
Which boys came up? What do you think?
Drew, Carson,
and
Jaden.
Carson. Looks like it. They're all nasty
So
too.
they're just
So here's a silly question. So we know Carson has a relation to Nick Sirianni. Does that mean you have to root for the Eagles?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Let's go Bills.
Bills.
Go
Go
Bills.
Bills.
Go Bills.
Do you give him a lot of crap?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He wears his Eagle stuff like every
Every
He's got
single
Eagle
day.
clothes, He's got
Merch.
Eagle pants. He got an Eagle hat.
He's
We all
got it
pick on
all.
it. He's
Yeah.
like, no Eagles.
We're not big Eagle fans.
No.
Nope.
So we'll give him a
Yeah.
lot of grief over that. So what are you guys gonna do now? Like, is Coach taking you out for chicken wings, or is he gonna stop, or you just go straight home?
I'm still full from Tim Hortons.
Yeah, we stopped at Tim Hortons before this, and I think he wants to get rid of us by now because we talk his ear off the whole
Yeah,
time.
they can play music.
Why don't we go to the
Karaoke.
mall?
You're very welcome. It's open.
Go to the mall.
By the time
Maybe we could surprise Maggie with a present.
Yeah.
we should, Coach. Please.
Yeah.
Hopefully she's not watching.
There's a Lacey watching.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Hi,
She's
Elise.
giving her the deeds. What are you guys doing tonight? What do you think? I'm not really familiar with Randolph too well. I know Jamestown, but
Nothing.
on a date night, where would you go in Randolph?
Nowhere to
No, your house.
Old School Tavern.
Two oranges.
Our
Peaches
name.
and cream.
Peaches and cream. With Kate.
Would you go into Jamestown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far is that? 10 minutes?
20.
20,
20 minutes?
15.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It's not that far.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys came on. and
Yes,
you
thank you for
Yeah,
having
thank
us.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
Well, let's talk about the game. Do you guys want to talk about
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we can.
We can. I'm good.
what happened?
Oh,
We
goodness.
choked.
We didn't choke. We didn't choke. I mean,
Get it out.
we
Let's
came
get it
out. We came out pretty strong.
Mhm.
We had a great game plan going in. We wanted to take away the big girls, which we took away the big girls. And then a girl that never had a game like she did against us, she made like
Oh,
what,
that
5 out of 6 threes, and she just got hot that game. And we didn't think she was gonna do it.
That's
Coach
Yeah.
said if she makes it, it's
Good for
not gonna
her.
Take away the big
Yeah.
girls.
We weren't expecting that at all with those. Like we didn't think they had very like strong guards in their team, but they're big. We obviously were trying to stop her, and that was like the game plan. And then all of a sudden, the one girl has like 5 threes on us. We're like, what the heck?
Talk about the crowd. Was it hostile territory? Because Millbrook is.
Oh, our crowd was
Our
bigger.
crowd was so much bigger. than
Ours
theirs.
was more
I
supportive.
will say,
I'd
like,
Are
say.
you serious?
When I walked out there,
yeah.
I wasn't expecting everyone to stay like another night for our game because like obviously we went to the boys game and my first thought was like we're not gonna have a big crowd, everyone's gonna go home.
Everyone
And
was there.
I took a look at the stands after I walked out of the locker room, and I remember like I was literally crying because I was like, oh my god, like this many people care about us, and it was just kind of like a really good feeling. And I looked over to the other side, and we like We surrounded them. It
Yeah.
was so crazy. Like, they said the Randolph Cardinals, and it was the loudest sound ever. And they said Millbrook, and it was like nothing. And it was really cool.
It was amazing.
Did you, I mean, it was a good game, a lot of sports.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
We rode the bus back with the boys.
Yeah. It was a little emotional, but then we got back into our
Yeah,
regular
the
movie.
crowd was so loud. You could
Oh my
barely
God.
hear anything in the gym.
We were calling plays, and I would look at Coach. I'm like, what? I had no clue what he was talking
Even
about.
me, I know every play. I know what coach is saying all the time, and I was struggling to hear what coach.
It was so
It was
loud.
really loud.
Did you
And
tell
then
your fans to keep it down?
Yeah.
and our fans, we had a parade back into town, and our fans
Oh.
were lining the streets. I cried on
Parade.
the bus.
Yeah,
looking at the
we were all
fans. I
crying. It
crying
was
on the
like,
bus
it was
because
super emotional.
It was the fan. It was surrounding. We had troopers. We had the sheriffs in our town, fire trucks, snow plows. Everybody
Snow.
was just
All the
and then the
tractors.
streets and sidewalks were lined in town. It was
Yeah.
amazing. It was an amazing feeling. It was crazy.
I think I can speak for all of us and say, like, we've never cried that much in a weekend in our
It
lives.
was really emotional.
I still cry.
We got on the bus 4 days, and I know I cried every day getting on the bus. There was not one day that I didn't cry. We had coach made us a video of our.
Oh,
parents
not the
talking to
video.
us. We
no.
started sobbing because
Right
coach
before
had
the
like
game.
speakers coming to talk to us for playoff games, and he had our families do one, and we were all just sobbing.
Yeah.
We were sitting staring at coach's phone, and I'm sobbing. And then in the locker room before the game, we were crying because
A lot of crying.
It was an emotional weekend, but it was an amazing weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it.
Never.
Where did you guys go out to eat out? Was there a place that like?
Texas
like-
Roadhouse.
Texas
Texas
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse is where we went out, and then we,
Wow.
yeah,
Good job, coach.
yeah,
And
that
then
was
we
our
got to
meal. We
sing
got
happy
to choose.
birthday.
Wait, and we
to
went to
Purple.
Olive Garden.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yep.
Olive Garden. We all got chicken Alfredo.
Yep.
When we got back,
Every single
That's
one.
our team meal.
Everybody? Breadsticks?
I think everyone did.
Yep, breadsticks.
Nothing compares to Christina's though.
Yeah. It's the best.
I think we ate more rolls at Texas Roadhouse than
We asked for.
Yeah.
We had our
5
waitresses
seconds.
coming back.
I felt bad for our
She was a good
waitresses.
waitress, though.
Yeah.
We had good waitresses.
So who's your favorite journalist down there?
Matt
Spielman.
Mr. Spielman?
Yeah.
He's at
He's
every
our
single
guy.
game. Yeah, every single game Ruin was on.
Yeah.
He was at the States game. It was phenomenal.
Good job, Matt.
Yeah, good job, Matt.
Shout out to Matt.
You're the man.
You're the man for real.
Yeah.
So I want to congratulate you guys on it. Everybody from W Athletics wants to tell you guys congratulations. You guys made everybody proud. And who knows? Maybe next year.
I'm hoping they'll be back
We'll
next
be-
year.
Yeah.
We'll be back. I
States
can
is
feel
50
it.
minutes away from Cobleskill. You can catch me in that gym. Every day they're there.
You'll be on the bench with us.
It was just so much fun. Like, I don't want that ever to be my last time there. Like, it was an
We're going
experience
again,
that
no
I know
matter
I
what.
will tell for the rest of my life. So,
Yeah. So talk about the program you're leaving behind. Is it in a better place than when you found it?
Oh yeah, it's in a better place where I found it. We were good when I first came in, and then it just changed around. I don't know what happened, but the program changed, and I'm gonna be leaving behind a great program. I hope I changed everyone's mindset and the way the program did for the better, and I hope everything keeps going the way it is going.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. So you have to say goodbye to your sister, though.
Yeah, I gotta wait until like August. I gotta wait a little bit.
Is it gonna be tough?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you best friends or just?
Yeah, I'd say we're best friends. I mean, COVID happened, and like before COVID, we hated each other, and then COVID happened, and then we became tight. I mean, we still are like bipolar towards each other.
Yeah.
One minute we hate each other.
and then I step in the middle and I have to,
One
like,
minute
Kay's
we
gotta
hate each other,
separate
the
them.
next minute we love each other. I think it's just a love-hate.
Who steals each other's clothes?
She steals my clothes, and I go into my closet, and it's open. I'm like, why is my closet open? I didn't open it, and then I'm looking for the shirt, and it's missing.
She steals my socks though.
Or
Who's got-
even.
Who's got the best sock game on the team?
Definitely
Peyton.
me. Oh,
Caitlin, no, Caitlin.
I hate random socks.
She has like all like the animal
She's got
socks
pepper
and,
socks
the
and, like-
cow socks.
we all have the
Yeah.
best socks, though.
none of
Last
my
year,
pants are long enough. So
Sectional
I just
final
have to
game,
show
we
yeah,
her
No,
socks.
last year we got
semifinal.
socks with Coach's face on them and wore them for the
And
sectional
then we never
final
won again
game.
because we
Are you
played
wearing
bad.
them right now?
No.
No.
I know, we
Take
should have.
Take a picture with your Twitter handle, the Randolph and.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a massive thing of Coach.
Yeah, but we never wore them
Your own
again.
sock?
I didn't even know
Sell
about
this.
it,
I
and
think we
then
can sell this.
they,
Oh, we could.
Pre-game, I looked down.
It was a
I'm like,
shiitake
what is going
Yeah.
on? Is that me? And they lift it up. They all have socks.
Do you guys have a school store?
Yes.
Yeah.
we
You
do.
do?
Yeah.
Okay, can we get the idea to someone?
We probably could.
We probably
I'm sure
could.
Yeah,
Kangen
Miss
would let
Kangen would
us.
totally do
Maybe shirts too, just as massive
Yeah,
face
just his
on it.
face on it.
I don't think those would sell.
I'd buy it.
I like
The socks are cool. Yeah.
Come up with something.
Yeah.
Oh, we will.
All
Yeah.
of my people contact your people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We'll open this up.
We'll start a brand.
Yeah, you have to sign off on it.
P-Bad.
I guess it was a good photo at least?
It was a good.
It was a good photo.
I don't know where they got the photo.
I don't either, but
It's
it was good.
It's like red socks with Coach's face like all over the socks.
Yeah, they're just little dots of Coach.
Your wife probably.
I had no idea.
Oh, she had no idea.
We should have gave Maggie a pair.
yeah, we should have.
It'd be so nice.
The baby somewhere.
Ah, we should.
I've tried ending the show a few times now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
Oh,
apologize.
my bad.
I wish we could go on and on.
That's
Yeah.
We
okay.
could.
My house is a travesty. I'm hosting people tonight, so I'm gonna have to get home at some point. Straighten things out. You're all invited, but
Aw,
it's
thanks.
game night.
Hey, that's where we'll go.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yes,
out.
thank you. For
Yeah,
coming.
thank you so
It's a
much.
ride. It's a long ride.
Yeah. Good thing there's music.
Yeah, and our singing.
Oh my gosh, Coach, good luck.
Okay, but Coach sings too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was singing in the car.
Fireflies.
Yeah.
Don't act like you don't like that
What
song.
was, oh, he was singing a song from Greece.
Oh yeah.
Skylar and him were singing.
Yeah, me and Coach were singing.
Little
What were you
duet
singing?
action.
What was it
You
called?
wanna sing now?
No.
Good. Wait.
Play your violin.
She plays
Danny
the
Bo.
violin.
Yeah, I play the violin.
for the halftime.
Huh?
Okay, ready, go.
What?
Sing it.
Coach, ready?
I'm not ready.
Tell me more. Tell me more. Does he something something? Yeah, something like
I
that.
just saw Grace last Friday at
I
Sweet
Want It
Home.
That
They did a
Way.
great job.
Oh,
They did a
yeah.
really good job.
We sing I Want It That Way after every
Yeah,
single
every time we
game.
win, we sing "I Want It That Way" in the
We sing
locker
it for
room.
you.
When we wait for
You want us to
coaches to
sing it
come
for
in.
you?
Yes.
Ready? 1, 2, ready, go.
I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never want to hear you say I want it that way.
And then coach comes in and screams.
And then he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how the boys are gonna follow that.
Coach is laughing at us.
I really don't. I'm gonna have to have them sing.
Yeah, they gotta sing a song.
Yeah,
by you.
they don't probably have a song like this.
No.
They probably don't.
They don't have the
They're
bond.
as cool as us,
Yeah.
Don't compare
No,
to us.
probably not.
No.
Second fiddle.
Yeah.
Well, you girls have a safe trip home.
Thank you.
very much for
Thank
joining
you.
us
Thank you for
today.
having
Hope to See
us.
you guys again. We'll get down there for another game and wish you guys the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell those other girls that couldn't be here today that we're proud of them too. And
We will. We
wish
will.
them the best of luck. So we'll be back with the boys in just a few moments. I'm not gonna go to commercial because I don't know how to play them. So you're gonna watch this event splash screen and say goodbye to the girls.
Bye.
Bye.
No, I'm telling them to say goodbye to
Oh,
you.
yeah, we'll say bye to them.
Yep.
We're
Bye.
saying bye back. Bye, Lacey.
We'll be back with the boys in just a few moments. You're watching W1
Bye,
Athletics.
Elise.
And the voice, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back to WNY Athletics High School Sports Saturday. Frank Wolf, and my next guest is going to be Mr. Kevin Hind, now 50-year-old Kevin Hind, who probably doesn't want the number out there. But
That's
when
all
you-
right.
When you have a number like that, you got to kind of just embrace it.
Yeah, it was a great week to turn 50. I had
Yeah.
more birthday messages with congratulation messages wrapped in, and I just loved each and every one of them.
How long have you been coaching now at Randolph?
25 years. I was 97, 98 was my first year. I was the JV coach. Ike Morrison, who you just spoke with Peyton and her dad, and I had become best friends, was on that team as a senior, playing at. We played through the playoffs. We played in the crossover game, C1, C2. And at the beginning of that game, Ike got two front teeth knocked right out and had to leave the game. We started off the game in a tip, kick out pass. I think it was to Jason Beaver, lob pass to Kevin Lang, dunked the ball to start the game. I mean, it was the most intense place I had been at the time, and followed that up with Ike leaving the game and us struggling. We ended up losing that game, but yeah, that was one of my very first memories, and dates back to 97, 98.
So you're a Randolph guy.
I'm a Frewsburg guy.
Frewsburg.
I graduated from Frewsburg, played at JCC for a couple of years, then played at Brockport, came back. I was a teacher, looking for a job. I had been hired that summer coming back by Jamestown to be their JV coach, and then things kind of, actually take that back. Before that, I had worked with Tom Nelson for a year as his assistant. And that year, we were in the sectional finals playing Randolph. And during that pregame, Pat Slater and Tom Nelson had a conversation about me, and I had looking for a teaching job. So during that conversation, Pat was kind of intrigued. He knew he was kind of maybe on his way out. He said something to the superintendent. Maybe sometime during that summer, right after we played that game, I got a phone call from Randolph asking if I wanted an interview. I hadn't even applied, and it was the superintendent's secretary at the time, and like, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, sure, and went the next day on a Monday for an interview, and got a call on a Tuesday that I was the new 6th grade teacher, and been at Randolph ever since.
Wow. So, we won't get into the Frewsburg Randolph, because that's always been contentious.
Yep.
For whatever reason. But is it feel weird being a Frewsburg
No,
grad coaching Randolph, or is that just totally blown out of proportion?
Yeah, totally. When I was 23, 24, we had some games. The year I took my first team to states, 2003, 2004, we were 18-1 going into the last game of the year, and it was at Frewsburg. And at that time, being only 3-4 years into coaching, it was a thing. I mean, it was there for me a lot. Every time I stepped in the gym or walked in the gym, and we were, like I said, 18-1. They were 500-ish, I think, at the time, and we ended up losing that game, the last game of the season, and it was like, for me at the time, it was an absolute tragedy. And I had a couple different people, we were winning some games. We weren't playing great at the time. And, I don't remember who it was that told me, but, that's the best thing that ever happened to you guys. And it was very eerily similar to what happened this year with our loss to Salamanca, although Salamanca was our equal this year. Frewsburg at that time, it just really wasn't, and so it was an upset loss, and so it hurt a little bit. But anyhow, we went on to win 4 or 5 in a row and end up in the state semifinals at the time. And then this year, we had great games with Salamanca. We always have, and I think you were there at the one on the road.
February 15th.
Yeah, and it was a good game, back and forth. We ended up losing. Okay, no big deal. I wasn't sure I even wanted that game at that time in February. I was nervous. We really only played 6 guys most of the season. We stopped even scrimmaging toward the end, because the only thing that really hurt us at the time, what I felt in our own section especially, was a bad injury, and we were trying to avoid that at all costs. So I was kind of nervous going into the Salamanca game.
Is that because you didn't believe that you may have had the depth?
Yeah, and I didn't believe at the time that we did have the depth, and we had some other kids that are good players. They just hadn't played a lot. They were lacking defensively. More is what I was kind of more worried about than some other things, and so I just changed the way I coached toward the end. Last month, we just barely scrimmaged. We shot a lot. We tried to stay in shape. We put in executed plays and put things in, and so I was nervous going into that game. But after we lost that game, I watched the film, and there was just things on the film that I just couldn't believe my eyes. And simple things like not boxing out and getting beat back on defense and not diving on the floor on a loose ball. So we honestly spent the last 3 weeks after the Salamanca loss going right back to preseason fundamentals. We were doing charge drills. We were diving on loose ball drills. We were box out drills. Everything revolved at that time after that loss really revolved around defense. And for me, I think that made the biggest difference that I could ever have hoped for.
You kind of took the kids back to school.
Right back to school, big time. I mean, these kids have been together a long time, so some of that stuff isn't fun. I hadn't really done many defensive drills most of the whole season, and it was. But the great part of it was fun. I mean, as we started doing this stuff and diving on the floor, and they're running over to each other and helping each other off the floor, and they're diving on the floor and calling timeouts, and we're practicing the little things that I really felt we were going to need to win a big game. Practices were like awesome. I mean, they were just the best practices I've had in forever.
Because they were giving it their all and believing in what you were doing?
They were 100% locked in, and they were, but I had video, I had proof. Like, look at
Yeah.
that. We took that Thursday. We played Thursday. We took Friday off, and we watched film. And the stuff I was showing them, and we hadn't practiced on Saturday most of the whole season, but we had that whole week coming up and going to be off, and we went to work Saturday morning with the first practice, like I'm talking about, just energy. A lot of, just coaching, yelling, diving, clapping. I wanted them to celebrate every little thing we did, and it was just, the practices were the last, and we did that. We went right going into the state finals on the bus. We were doing a dive on the ball, loose ball drill. I did put the pad down there on the very last day as we were going to take a charge drill, and I took the ball, and every one of them came in and took a charge on the chest, and I told them to beat Lions we were going to need. This was going into the Lions game. We were going to need to take some big charges. I think we ended up taking 4, and it was just a huge part of the game.
What was the most difficult part of getting to Glens Falls this year? Was it Section 5? Was it that semifinal game, or was it getting out of your own section?
It's all hard. You're nervous. I'm more nervous for the getting out of our own section. Like just my own feeling in my stomach was so nervous just going into games because we had already beat a couple of these teams. Yeah. Because we had beat them twice. We beat Frewsburg 3 times last year. We had already beat them twice this year. I knew that they're good shooters and they're capable of beating you, and I'm not going to say a bad loss, but a loss to a team that you've already beat feels like a bad loss to me, so it just adds extra pressure, extra nerves in front of everybody at JCC. After we got that was the goal. I mean, start out. Let's win a sectional title this year. We ran into Salamanca last year, who beat us at JCC, and then after that they end up winning and going to states. Allegheny goes to states in Class B. We had beat them during the season at home. Amherst goes to states. We went up there. Chris is one of my good buddies right now. He coached in the B-Canny stuff together. So we went up and scrimmaged them last year and had a quarter at the end where we hit 7 threes and 4 different guys and scrimmaged Amherst evenly last year. They took it to us a little bit at the beginning of this year, but last year I thought we walked out of there like, wow, we just scrimmaged Amherst fairly evenly. And then Jamestown, we probably scrimmaged them 5 or 6 times last year, who went to states in AA. So this was a year ago. We're talking states every day.
Yeah.
Like we were talking, like I would bring these scrimmages up to these guys, like how good Amherst is, how good Jamestown is, how good Salamanca is, and you get to that game and even some of the games even this year. I mean, it's basketball. You can win or lose, to a lot of these teams that you play on any night. Jaden doesn't hit 8 threes in the state championship game, you're not state champions, or it's basketball. You watch, Farley Dickinson beat Purdue the other night, and the smallest team beating the biggest team. It's just anything can happen, and I really lived that this week.
What did you learn about the guy? I mean, you had been with these guys for a long time. We saw the post. You had some of them since third grade.
Yeah, I had in class.
Is there something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there something you learned about them the last 6 months or so that maybe you didn't know, that a button you could push that you didn't know
They-
could take it to a different level, or did you know what you had? There were no surprises.
I knew what I had. Getting it out of them was not always easy. You just got their kids. They're young kids. They sometimes they think they're better than they are. They don't want to play defense. They don't want to dive on the floor. They don't want to buy into the things that are. And so there's definitely challenges to get them to do what you want them to do, and you're not always the popular guy. And I tell these guys all the time. I mean, I love them to death, more than anybody. But I'm going to be the first one if you're not doing what I ask. And at this point, though, coming into this year, last year it was states. I mean, we just talked about it. We were trying to get there. I totally changed my tune this year. I really tried. I tried to get them to really want it for themselves rather than for me. Show them what they needed to do, talk to them, but the pressure of we've got to go to states, I tried to remove that at all costs.
Okay.
Like we just didn't even want to really talk much about it. I would make little reminders here and there and remind them on certain things on how good I thought they were. But I knew Section 5 was just loaded with good teams, and the good news is only one of them could come out of there, because there was a lot of really good teams over there that we started watching film, and we spent that whole week preparing for Section 5, not knowing. We had an idea that we thought maybe Lions, and we put our hat on Lions, and we probably prepared for Lions more than any of them. So we were really ready for Lions, but
Had you seen them before though?
I had seen a
Not playing
film.
them, but
Yeah, I hadn't. I mean, I had up until towards the end of the season when we started looking ahead. I hadn't seen them. I had seen Avon. We had scrimmaged Pembroke. We played York.
Yep.
So I had similar scores and matchups that I could look at and just knowing that we're there. I mean, we're where we want to be. We just got to win the one big game.
as a coach, obviously you're worried about your team. You got to find out what you have to work with. You know what offense you're running. You know how you're going to prepare your team. You want to dictate to the other team your style.
Sure, big
Okay,
time.
So yes, so when you're looking for a team you're getting ready to make your schedule for next year. Do
Yep.
you take a look at scheduling teams that you think you will play if you're to make a run?
No, I don't.
Do you have time to even?
We're
worry?
definitely going to York again.
Okay.
I made a promise to him.
You played them last year.
Yep, he came to us,
For this
and they lost. I mean, they could have just as easily won as any of the teams over there. And so we talked through phone and email that if he came here, my schedule was kind of road heavy this year. So I had told him I would play him this year if he would come here. He agreed if we would go back there next year. We went off to Tully. We tried to play. They were in the sectional finals or semifinals over there. Section 3. He's who I lost to in the state semis in 2004. We had reached out as Tyler came through and taken a couple trips just to try to play some other Class C schools around the state, which I think is important. They play at that level, play a similar level, but a good team at that level, which we do have in our area. But it was the Tully thing. Like talking with the superintendent, Kane Kelly, like it was. We had the travel and the hotel. We've been doing that since the kids were in 3rd, 4th grade, and we did it this year already. We did the Tully trip, so we've been on a bus. We ate the hotel breakfast. We, had to kill time in between games, and there's a lot to that. I mean, there's a lot to that. Still, they were just talking on the way up here. We had driven to the girls' game, and
That's an hour.
Yeah, it was an hour, and I was really nervous about doing it. And I had a couple conversations, and it was just like there's just with what the girls had done and how things had gone, and in the pictures, there was just no way for us not to go to that game. Even though I'm not positive it was in our best interest, These guys were just talking on the way up here. We had Jaden Huntington in his hotel bed. Carson said looked like he was dead. And we had an hour before game time. And Jaden was like, yeah, and then the warm-ups came, and I was good, coach. But, going into that championship game, that was just we got up early. We got up at 8 o'clock in the morning and had practice because we had Cooper and Tristan who just weren't, I didn't think that, we had practice Saturday night, Friday night after our game at 6, and we had practice Saturday morning at 8. So we got 2 practices in before the state championship game just to try to make sure because without Griffin, our depth had suffered greatly.
Yeah, I mean, that was a
huge loss. I mean, it was just huge. And
that was in Saturday's game.
That was in Friday's game. First thing Friday. Yeah. If we had to play this all over again, or you were to ask me if I thought we could win a state championship without Griffin, I would have told you not a chance. He was the heart and soul of the team, defensive guy. He's the one that guarded J.C. Walker. He's a sophomore, and he's the leader. He's the first one to tell Carson or Jaden, let's go, guys. Like he'll literally he tells them pick it up. I remember at the Nichols game, he was the biggest reason we ended up winning the Nichols game. And I started to get on the guys a little bit. We're talking defense. I'm trying to get into him, and there's Griffin, the voice of reason, and at that game he's chasing around the other team's best player for 32 minutes and running the floor and dishing off the ball, and so there would have been no thought in my mind that we could bring a state championship home without him. And that's not taking anything away from anybody else. It's just he's just that good in my opinion.
There was some adversity during the year, but was that the biggest what you were going to have to overcome? Because it came at the worst possible time.
Yeah, I mean, I've had maybe 3 injuries in 25 years like that. Yeah. The first one was the state semifinals. The first time we went, my same kind of guy, Nick Scobie, rebounder, 6'2", had played for me for 3 years, broke a rib on the same stanchion at almost the exact same part of the game, 3, 4, 5 minutes in. And all of a sudden, Griffin goes down my face was like white as a ghost. I actually said the words, this is like deja vu. Owen heard me. He was feeling it. I had told that story, I don't even know how many times to these guys about the states, and things just have to kind of fall into place to even think of, you have to be a little bit lucky, good and lucky, all in the same time.
You guys weren't getting lucky, though, when something like an injury to Griffin happens. That's not luck.
That's not luck. And I have. I don't know if your camera can see it. I have a picture right here. I have a picture right here on my phone.
Let me see here. Here, I'll take it. So that's it's a little blurry, but
yeah. So on the far left, you have Peyton Morrison, who just left here.
Yeah.
And then on the far right, you have Cooper Freeman, who hit the free throws. And then in that picture, the other 7 players that stepped on the court are in that picture. So yeah, there's no, you have, going left to right, you have Peyton, and then you have Carson and Jaden, and then you have Owen, you have Drew, Griffin, Roan, and then, Drew's here, and then at the very end is Cooper Freeman. And at that time, in this picture, he's probably, these kids have, those are the 7 kids that stepped on the floor. So luck, definitely not luck. I mean, there was no, Cooper was he was the best JV player in our area, and he had some soccer commitments, and he was, he's a high-level soccer player. And for me, with guard-heavy team, and some seniors, it was easier for me to let him play on the JV team and give give the seniors their fair shake of at it, and not have to split time with Cooper and a couple of these other guys, and then he could still they were 19-1 with him down there. And so if he didn't have the soccer commitments, like Mondays he had had to practice a certain time, and Fridays, and which was all good, and we were all on board with it, but I didn't want to have to deal with it, so I just kind of let it. Okay, it's fine. We're good with that. But he would have been playing for us from day one had that not existed. So yeah, it wasn't. I mean, he hadn't played for us, but he's a really good player.
will he play varsity in the future?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. He's definitely, his parents have been all in since day one. We will, it's a day and age where, we'll do what we have to do to try to make it all work to the best, what's best for everybody.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't.
So, Drew's done.
Drew's a sophomore.
I'm sorry,
Yep.
not Drew. Jaden's done.
Jaden and Carson.
Carson's done.
And Owen.
And Owen.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you got 3 guys you got to say goodbye to.
Yep.
Talk about how you're going to, what's next for the program?
I mean, I spent a lot of this week watching, I don't know if you followed it, the Tappan Z team that won Class A. I'm like, my buddy Ike and I were laughing, like the fire's, kind of lit because you watch them, and they're 5 guys under 6 feet. They run very similar stuff to us. They have a player that handles the ball and takes it very, very similar to Drew. They've got shooters around them. They're all under 6 feet. They play great defense. And that's what we have. Like I said, I have 4 of the guys that were in the game at the end are still going to be there. So Roan Kelly stepped in and hit a big 3 right off the bat. He's one of the best athletes in Western New York as a runner. He's been in the weight room all week already. He's going to be. He probably has 4 inches left to grow. I'm guessing he'll be 6'2", 6'3" by the time next year comes around. Then you have Drew and Griffin back, which are 2 of the best guards around. People don't even know how good Griffin is. Griffin sacrificed points this year for the team because you got guys like Jaden and Carson shooting the ball as well as they do, along with. I mean, they all sacrificed. I mean, any one of them could have been a 1,500-point scorer on any other team. And they're all, the 3 of them are right around all 900 points right now. But the wins are way outweigh like Drew was approaching 1,000 points going into the season. I never even counted them up. I had already said no matter what happens here, we're not even talking about it. Like that was the last thing I wanted anybody thinking about was something individual. And I say if he gets 1,000 and he has 1,050 when we start the season, I'm not even counting the points. I ended up he's like 15 away going into next season, but so it wasn't something we were going to even celebrate because the makeup of the team was so strong that and it's not like it's a bad thing. It was just we were focused on bigger things right now, and the other individual stuff could take care of itself later. But our JV team was, like I said, 19-1. You have shooters everywhere, and that's the biggest thing for us. I mean, they have 4 guys down there that they're all little, and they've won games, and they just shoot the ball, and that's what we really focus on. You have Kevin Harrington, who's Skylar Harrington's brother, so he's top-notch player. He'll be right up there, in the fighting for a starting spot. And Cooper Freeman defensively, him and Griffin will be clones of each other on defense. I mean, they will be the 2 toughest defensive guards. They'll guard anybody, and so you hang your hat on that. Along with bringing Drew back, who, will be. He was the leader of the show this year. I mean, and just, even going into the last couple games, points. It was for me to him. It was just like you just have to be you just have to play your best basketball. It might be scoring points. It might not be scoring points. In the last game, he had 8 assists and took care of the ball through 30 minutes of the game anyhow. And we put the ball in his hands to create. And then with shooters around that, you bring back a pretty good team for next year.
In the championship, and we'll talk to Jaden about it, but 8 threes.
Unbelievable. And and Jaden, Carson, and Drew, and I've said this in all my interviews, and I'm going to say it right here live, that they are the 3 best shooters, together that I've had on one team, and they're all on the same team. Now, you got guys that coming through. Obviously, Tyler was a really good shooter and they can all, but there wasn't three of him. So he could be in that group. There's other players that I've had, not very many, though, that can actually – you watch these guys shoot the ball in practice, and you just – even like Jade, nobody – he had a hard year with he had a knee surgery a year ago, and he didn't even play the summer. He came to me after football season, a great football season, a late run into the playoffs, knees swollen. I'm watching him on the basketball court. He can, we get to the York game, as a matter of fact, and I wasn't even going to play him. His knee was swollen. He couldn't move. He couldn't slide. So we started taking days off, and then Carson had some right after the Nichols game. He didn't practice for 5 or 6 days in a row. He had fell hard on the baseline and hurt his hip. And from the Nichols game, after the Salamanca loss, they were walking out with bags of ice and going home and taking ice baths every single day. I couldn't get them to even put a piece of ice on themselves a year ago. And Carson Connolly bathed himself outside in a tank with ice bath every single day, so he was healthy. Talk about buying in, man. He was all in at the end.
Yeah, there's not a lot of kids that'll put themselves through that for the good of the team.
Every day. We would giggle, and him and Roan too, because he's out. He's doing his running thing, and they're walking out with ice. But he also started like, well, this I feel better. I can shoot better. My knees don't hurt. My hip doesn't hurt. Same with Jaden. He was feeling better. You start playing better. I mean, Carson, after he started taking care of his body, and I mean, he struggled last year with knees all the time, just hurting. The Oshkin Slaughters and just everything hurt all the time. And so it's like you said, it's hard to be all in when you're in pain,
Yes.
every single day. But this year he figured it out, and man, good, really happy that he did.
I am too. They're a good group of boys. We've covered them, from football the last few years, and seeing the way they get together with their teammates and just the camaraderie. And a lot of teams are like that too,
Sure.
But this was a special.
I've coached a
special
lot
group
of
kids.
teams. Not one of them ever had this kind of camaraderie. Not one. And I'll say that not one. They didn't have an argument at practice. They weren't late ever. They didn't say a negative thing to somebody one time. I mean, they were all in for each other. The friendships that they have was second to none. There wasn't a jealous bone. I mean, some of the stuff we had to work through when they were younger, natural stuff. I mean,
For sure.
Basketball is just innately selfish. It's just that's the hardest.
Everybody wants to be the best.
Everybody does. Everybody wants to score points. Everybody wants them. So you have to have these talks and over and over and over again. Not one time did I ever feel that there was a player on my team that was acting any way selfishly. And you could tell, it's easy. I mean, as a coach, you know when someone looks at someone and then looks away, or the little things like maybe some people don't notice,
Dropping little
but
hints.
if it's there, it's a team killer, and it happens fast, and you can actually see it. You like to see it on other teams, because then you can play into that defensively at times, and so none of it. And honestly, the greatest. I mean, from 1 to 12, just not a bad seed anywhere.
We'll take a break.
Yep.
We'll bring the boys in, and we'll put them on the spot and have some fun with the guys. See if they're as loose as the girls were in here, because they were a lot of fun.
I don't think they're gonna sing.
They probably won't sing, but we'll see if we can't get them to do something.
Okay.
So we'll be back. You're watching WNY Athletics High School Sports Saturday. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. I don't have a commercial to play because I don't know how to do it here. I don't know what Francis did, but we'll be back in just a few moments with Jaden Huntington, Carson Connolly, and Drew Hine. Okay, welcome back to High School Sports Saturday on WNY Athletics. We've welcomed in three characters from Randolph Boys. We got Drew Hind, Jaden Huntington in the middle, and then Carson Connolly sitting right next to the late great Dick Gallagher's portrait there. Kevin Hind's in here somewhere too. We'll have to move him over just a little bit because you don't want to miss Kevin. He's the birthday boy, of course.
Yeah.
Yesterday or today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. My sister turned 50 yesterday too. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna celebrate that today. But today it's all about the Randolph boys basketball team and what a season they had, a run all the way to Glens Falls. The first team from Western New York to win a state title since 2018. I believe it was a Class C team also that won. Or no, it was a Class D team that won in 2018. East,
Oh, yeah.
Sterling Bryant's team,
Mhm.
and then 2 years before that a Class C team won.
We beat them the year before at
Eden?
JCC.
Or East? Okay.
Yep, that was our
Very nice.
big win for us that year.
So congratulations on that. Yeah, Middle Early College won in 2016, Class C. Obviously, it was a run to a state title that none of you guys are ever going to forget.
No, not at all.
What was that? What was the moment, or what was that heartbreaking loss or moment for you guys that helped set you up, to build you guys up to be able to, see what it was going to take to get to this achievement? Was it last year's? At some point?
Yeah, I mean, last year's loss definitely fueled us a little bit, but the Salamanca game, our second Salamanca game this year, really, we kind of did a whole restart, how we practiced, how we did things, and it fueled us, and we kind of knew that the things we have to do to win and practice it nonstop.
So, Jaden and Carson, you guys play for the football team also.
Yep.
Had a devastating loss in the, what we call that, the regionals down there in Binghamton,
Yep.
or Union and DeKalb, wherever we were. I remember being there. That was a tough game to lose because you guys had a good enough team to probably go to states.
Yep.
We're hoping for that. Obviously, we all were. You guys, of course. But did that play a role at all, walking off that field that day, knowing that you guys didn't win that game? That was a crushing defeat for you guys, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So did that help fuel some rage to get going? Hey, man, this is my last basketball season. I got a good enough team. We got a good enough team here. I'm going to use this to maybe help fuel that fire a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. And it was kind of like the first experience of, like, after our football season was over, it was like, we're never playing again. Taking the pads off for the last time. So, and it was the same thing for basketball coming in. We knew we had one more shot at this, and all the years of playing came down to one more season. So, yeah, it totally motivated us, and we just didn't want that to happen again.
What was the bus ride home like after that football game? I got to ask, because we haven't really talked. We haven't had you up here, haven't had a chance to talk. What was it like coming back into Randolph after that game? Was there a lot of chatter on the bus? The reason I'm asking is I know it's a lot different than the last bus ride you took home
Oh, yeah.
to Randolph. So tell it to.
It was quiet. It was a quiet ride home. We were all devastated. Because we all put in so much work in the weight room and at practice to get to that state championship game, but came up short, and so everybody was just really devastated, and it was quiet.
A lot of anger, too.
Yeah.
Just so much that went wrong in that game that we wish we could have had back in an instant. And, I mean, just there were so many things in that game that if one of them went our way, that very likely could have been a different outcome. So I just remember being, like, super furious and couldn't sleep that night. And it was tough.
So, can I
Yes.
So from that loss, we ended up adding my nephew, Xander Hine, onto the. And we talked about this in the locker room after the end of the game, and although he didn't do a lot for us on the court, I told him after the state championship game he was probably the MVP. I mean, he came to after football, devastating loss, jumped on board, at every hadn't ever played. He had been a wrestler forever, really good wrestler, but had shoulder surgery. But these are his best friends. Him coming to practice every single day, working hard every day. He worked like he was in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, like trying to learn the game. And he was just all in. And them watching that, there wasn't a chance that one of them wasn't going to work hard, because here's maybe the best football player in Western New York coming here every single day for us. And it just fueled. It was just like an atmosphere that I just could not replace, and it was a big piece of the puzzle.
I feel bad because I keep calling him Xavier. I know it's Xavier.
They did mention that on the way.
This poor kid, I keep calling him Xavier. So one of these days I'm going to put some pads on and let him tackle me.
Yeah.
Give it to
I don't know
me
if you
when he's
want
old
that.
enough. No, I don't want that, but I deserve it. Xavier all these years.
I think he's forgiven you.
Thank you, buddy. Yeah, so fast forward, you guys go through that, you guys regroup, you put that anger into the dribble, into your work ethic, and you guys come out on top. What was it like playing at Glens Falls? Because that could be a very intimidating place for a team from Western New York. A lot of the teams that make it to the championship are usually within 25, 30 miles of Glens Falls. What was the atmosphere like for the semifinals and then the finals?
That's just always been the dream, playing there. That's just like the place to go for a basketball player, and getting there was just the best, I guess. It was just that court, feeling like you're the only one there, and like everyone's watching you and everyone's eyes around you. That was just the greatest place to play.
And there's tons of media there.
Yeah.
That whole row, it's nothing like going to JCC where there's 4 or 5 guys and 2 of them know what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to get beat for that, but you know what I'm saying. That whole stage is just one reporter from one small town to the next.
Yep.
But the crowd had to be insane.
Oh, it was.
And you guys had a number of.
So
The
loud.
loudest I've ever heard a gym.
Like-
It was just,
When Cooper was shooting them free
oh,
throws.
I know. So
It
loud.
was-
Yeah, unfortunately, it was loud, not our way, because
Right.
they made that giant comeback, and
Yeah.
how their fans were just going berserk the whole time. So it was
Hard.
tough for us
Yeah.
because it was so loud in there.
Yeah, you could feel the court like vibrate. And it was,
And that was part of the reason we ended up having practice twice, was some signals, just having some hand signals to be able to
Right.
combat some of that
Yeah.
noise.
You got through that.
Yeah,
You got through it okay.
Yeah.
Just talk about let's start with you, Carson. Your role on this team, how serious you took it, and how other guys fed off of you. You were hitting from deep often, especially in this playoff run. I watched you guys at Salamanca. I think you may have struggled that game.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and the whole team did.
Yeah.
And that led to some tough practices after that. But whatever was going on at the time in Salamanca, it was a different player. I saw a different guy at Nichols. I saw a different guy at JCC, and then you run through the playoffs. So just talk about how you seemed to be getting a little bit more confident as the season went on.
Yeah, so the difference between last year and this year is working out during the season was something that I did last year. I was so focused on weightlifting, and I hit the gym hard every morning with Roan Kelly and Griffin Nelson. And it messed up my shot so bad, like just being sore every day in practice, and I would lift the day before games too, and I couldn't shoot well. Coming in to this year, I knew that I wasn't going to lift. I was going to fully focus on basketball and making sure my shot was pure and dialed into where it needed to be, and that was a huge part of my success this year, was being able to shoot and then drive to the basket off of that too. And as the season went on, it was like, that's why we played 20 games, just to figure out everybody's roles and get to where we need to be. And over time, I just felt like everything was well-oiled machine, and that's just playing with confidence. That's how it went.
I think a lot of people in Western New York that are in tune with high school basketball, they're aware of Randolph. It's a successful program, a lot of good shooting, good guys that work really, really hard. But I think when you guys came up for Center Court Classic and took on Nichols, I don't think anybody in that gym gave you guys a chance. and we're scratching like, Chad, why are you putting these two teams together? This doesn't look like the right matchup for Randolph or for Nichols. You guys won the game.
Yep.
Just talk about what that had to be an insane ride home.
Yeah, it
Because you just beat one of the top teams up in Western New York, a private school, some of the best basketball players in Western New York, and you beat them.
Yeah.
On their turf.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Jane, why don't you speak to that?
It brought back memories because when we would go to all these AAU tournaments and people would stare at us walking in, all these short little guys walking into the gym and counting us out until we played, and we were beating teams because we all played together. We fundamental playing together, and it just brought back memories because when we walked in that gym, same thing happened. Everybody's watching us warm up.
Jaden commented on it before the game. He actually was talking about it, like pregame.
We were sitting in the stands, like, this just reminds me of AAU days. Everybody's yelling. The gym is
It's a great atmosphere.
intense.
Center court is a great atmosphere.
Love it. Yeah, it's amazing.
You gonna miss that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
Definitely.
Chad does a great job. I was hoping to get him in today. I know he's heading up to Silver Hoops. Did you guys play in Fredonia State this past Wednesday night? Were you guys invited up there?
No, because we're Cat County. They play tomorrow.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So what's that all about tomorrow?
Just the Big 30. So we play with kids from Cattaraugus County, and we go against the PA team.
Just like football.
Yeah. Yep.
Where's that?
Portville.
Is it Portville?
Yep.
Okay. What time is that game anyway?
4? Yeah, 4. Yep. And the girls play before. Kara's playing in the girls' game.
Nice.
Yep.
Very cool. Yeah, we don't hear a lot about that, what goes on down there as much as we'd
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
We just gotta probably pay a little bit better attention. But we know about the Big 30 for football,
Yeah.
but I don't know about the basketball one, so
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I wonder if it's live streamed at all.
It might be, I'm not sure.
And then Drew's playing in the 716-585 game tomorrow. So all three of them are going to play one more basketball game
Yeah.
tomorrow.
So is that ECIC 3-4? You in the first game?
No, this one's a one that it's the.
Oh, no,
yeah.
716-585. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Do you know who's on your team then? Are you in the sophomore?
Yeah, the sophomore and
Okay.
the freshman. I know Jaden Johnson, and I think he's playing
G.
I know, and Nakai Harris I played with. I'm just trying to think. Oh, Justice Kleitz. I'm pretty sure he's playing
Yep.
in it. Yep. And so I played with a lot of those guys before, and it'll be fun to play with them again.
Have any of you guys been contacted to play in the BOB?
Yeah,
The Buffalo Bills coming up?
I'm got accepted into it or whatever.
Okay.
So I'll be playing in that
Very cool.
April 12th, I think.
13th,
yeah.
I think
12th
the
and
game is.
13th. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's cool. We'll be at that one.
Yeah.
We won't stream that though because we want them to get the gate, and if we stream,
Right.
then they won't get
Yeah.
the gate. So,
Yeah.
so we'll.
Yeah, that was what was cool even about the Nichols game.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to see it, you got to
Yep.
come, and
Yep.
there was obviously some parents that were out of
Yeah.
town, but it's still you pack the house like that. It was.
Yeah.
There's a video floating around out there of a really good celebration in the locker room afterwards.
I'd like to see that. You
Yeah.
guys have that still on your phone? I want to see
Yeah.
that.
Got it.
I heard it. I heard
Yeah.
it from outside.
Yeah, it was a big one.
Yeah, it was a good
There was
one.
a rumble going on in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Aside from the season, Jaden, you're a senior. You've played all over Western New York. Carson, you too. Drew, the one barn, not Randolph. The one place it can't be Buff State. It can't be JCC. It can't be Glens Falls. Another high school. You just love going into this gym because it's a great atmosphere. What's that gym for you?
It's a good question.
I'd probably say Salamanca.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say.
always packed, and it's always. I feel like this year we didn't play great there, but I feel like we always have in the past, and it's like a similar gym to us, so it feels like it's natural. But when that gets packed, that's the best.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Allegheny Limestone. I've never been in there for a gym. Does that
I-
offer anything, or Fredonia?
We've never played at
Yeah.
Fredonia. Allegheny's, it's a weird gym to play on because the
Different.
depth is weird. The baseline's a lot longer.
Tough gym to shoot in for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely Salamanca. It's just when they come to our place and we go there, it's just
They brought 2 spectator buses
Yeah.
this past
Oh,
year.
I've seen the buses. The Salamanca bus?
Yeah.
The
Well,
red
yeah, and then they
big
brought spectator buses to go 15, 20 miles across 86 to come over, and they had the whole
it was packed.
visitor side packed before anybody was even in the gym yet.
Yeah, there's Salamanca, Randolph, Olean, they travel well.
Yeah.
You guys ever get up to NT?
I'll tell you what,
You're-
York brought more people
yeah.
on a 2-hour, hour and a half trip. That was the fans that they brought were absolutely awesome. Going over there next year, I have to believe is going to be one of those gyms because
Right.
they were loud. I mean, it was
really loud.
awesome.
I felt like that was all I heard was them.
Yeah, that was well. I mean, we didn't get off to a great start, and they were into it, and that was cool.
So Jaden, you're gonna head to Lock Haven to play football there. What are the coaches telling you there? How they want to use you as a tight end?
Yeah, they've been
Yeah.
talking to me about tight end. Yeah. So.
You didn't have to go out and get too many passes this past year.
No,
Carson was on point, but you had this running back that was kind of good.
yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, he is amazing.
What did you like about Lock Haven? What?
Just the way, the atmosphere the coaches
Yeah.
brought. Coaches are really involved with the kids in the program, and they're changing things up there.
How far of a drive is it for your old man?
3 hours.
Yeah, you're not his best friend right
I don't know about that.
I don't know. That guy gets around. That guy gets around.
He's pretty up there these days. He's everybody's best friend in
Oh.
Randolph, and along with
So-
all these guys.
Let's talk about that bus ride back to Randolph with the girls. How do you pick them up? Because, I mean, you guys won. They didn't.
Yeah.
How was that? How'd you pick their spirits up?
We kind of stayed. We were telling them good game on the bus and stuff, and we kind of stayed quiet the first half. Then they started playing their music and getting loud, and then it was just
Normal.
yeah. It felt normal on the way home.
Yeah.
It was
It had to feel good, though, to see them supporting you in the stands all the
Oh,
way
yeah.
through. And you
It was
guys did
great.
the same for them.
yeah.
Yeah, like Quinn said in the interview before this, like when she said when we won, like she felt like she was a part of the team because we all feel we're like a big family, and it's
Yeah.
100% true.
They don't miss each other's games barely ever. I mean, unless they're both playing. You walk into our gym right there in the front row at a boys' game is the entire girls' team, along with our amazing 22 cheerleaders that traveled with us the whole time, and they were a huge part of the atmosphere of
Yeah.
making the whole trip special. Was, I'm sitting in the stands, and here comes 25 red and white pom pom carrying this. It was. I took a picture, and it was awesome. And I think out of all the teams that we saw there, we only saw maybe one other school that supported, and sent the cheerleaders with them. And I don't care what anybody says, that is awesome. It's
Yes.
huge for us to have that backing in a place 6 hours away from home. And I look over on the baseline, and they're yelling with everything, genuinely like cheering, happy for us, and it makes hitting 8 threes a little easier because it's all about momentum. It's all about rhythm and feeling comfortable, and it just had a huge impact on the game.
Was that the most comfortable you felt all year shooting?
Yeah, it was. I was feeling pretty smooth. Yeah, it was probably definitely.
What'd you have for breakfast that morning?
Hotel breakfast. No, we actually
No,
went
we
to the
got-
diner.
No,
Yeah,
to the diner.
diner.
They didn't love the
Yeah,
hotel
well,
breakfast.
no,
I'm like,
it's
all right, we got to get some good food.
We got to the
Good
diner.
bad.
Get food in you right now. And
You're gonna have to go back to that place when, like, 10 years down the line,
Yeah.
20 years down the
I know.
line, and
Yeah.
tell them, hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know what you
Seriously.
guys.
Well, we weren't sure we were gonna make the girls' game because they didn't. It wasn't a quick breakfast. We sat there. I was nervous.
God.
Like, when we gotta go, and we actually, we ended up like just barely making it there. The bus driver took a couple wrong turns, and I was just on pins and needles. Then we're like at the game. I was just praying that they won. I wanted them to win so bad. Obviously for them, and obviously for a lot of selfish reasons as well. Just walking out of there after a buzzer-beating loss or
Yeah.
something like that would have just been
Take the
terrible.
wind out of your sails,
Everything.
too.
It would have been terrible. And then you're gonna jump on a bus for an hour, and like it's just you're human. Like human body just, you know, there's only so many ups and downs you can go through in a 2-3 day period, and I was just really, really nervous, you know, as that game got close, and I was just rooting really, really hard for a million reasons, but that being one of them.
Now, did you guys bust this guy's chops during the Super Bowl at all, or, you know, because he's got to be like, do you have to be an Eagles fan, or are you just an Eagles fan by nature?
I just kind of became an Eagles fan.
No love for the Bills.
No,
Really?
I was an Indy fan too.
Of course.
And then,
Yep.
then I became an Eagles fan. So
Okay.
Tell them how big of an Eagles fan you are now after the text you got.
yeah, I got a text from Coach Nick, and I couldn't believe it when I got the text. I showed all the guys; they were all astonished too.
Yeah.
And
He came up and showed me, just had the biggest smile on his face. I
Pretty
read the
sweet.
text. It was just, I had goosebumps. It was just really cool.
Pretty sweet. Jaden?
Yeah, we bust his chops all season, but when the Bills went out of the playoffs, I mean, that's what I was rooting for the whole
Yeah.
time.
Drew, same thing?
Yeah.
Are you guys Bills fans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When they're playing, we're Bills fans.
What about basketball? You guys follow NBA or college? Who
I'm
you
not
like
a
in the
big
tournament? Are your
NBA
brackets
guy.
busted?
Oh, yeah.
I like the Jayhawks.
Okay.
Last year we do the March Madness raffle. We actually got Kansas picked too, so and
Nice.
they won.
Nice.
So that was cool. But they got
How many of you guys had like Purdue or
Uh,
A lot
Final
of people.
Four?
Who'd
Duke?
I have? I forgot who I had winning. Oh man.
Are they
Yeah.
still in it?
They might be. Yeah, I think so.
I got Texas winning it.
Okay. I was so out of it that I didn't even know UNC wasn't in it. It's like, what do you mean North Carolina?
Yeah,
I'm looking at
that's
this
crazy.
bracket, I'm like, what do you mean North Carolina? Where the hell's North Carolina?
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
So if you could pick, you're going to play football. If you could pick, you know, Drew, this basketball is your number one. If you could pick any school to go play for,
I feel like
where would it be?
when I was younger, I've always been a fan of Syracuse. I've always liked, I don't know why, but I always just like their school and their, like, just everything. We went to
a couple
watch
games
yeah.
there. That probably helped with that.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, we went to watch a few, like in their dome, or that was cool.
Yeah.
But
I've been to their.
probably Syracuse.
Okay. Yeah, I seen Syracuse beat St. Bonaventure there, I think in the NITs many years ago. I was rooting for St. Bonaventure.
Right.
You know, you guys would get the Bonnie games, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big Bonnie's fans.
Yep.
Good, good. I got a buddy who's got a son looking at St. Bonaventure too.
Really?
So maybe we'll go there and catch more games. But I wanted to thank you guys for coming up today. I know it was a long drive. It's Saturday morning. You got things you want to do.
There's no place we'd rather be.
Oh,
right?
Talk basketball.
Yeah.
But we'll end today's show. Shout out to the girls and the boys for coming in with us today. And we'll see you next week on High School Sports Saturday. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having